thank you guys for coming. This is something that hopefully is going to turn into a weekly occurrence. I want this to happen every Monday if possible. I can promise you guys that at least one member of High Command or the PA's office will be here on Mondays around this time to talk to you guys. Even if nothing major has happened in the past week, we're still going to come and give you guys kind of the vibe of crime in Los Santos and what we are doing against it and any plans that we might have in regards to crime, events, public outreach, whatever you name it, just to kind of build that bridge between the media and law enforcement because I feel it's very much needed in the city. I'm quickly gonna go over some topics that we want to let you guys know about in the public, and then we can take questions from you guys. Sounds good?
Mhm.
All right, perfect. I'm just gonna start with the biggest, most important, I would say, the Mr. Ink situation. It has almost died down entirely. He's still serving his 3 life sentences up at Max Sec and BB. There has been. I just want to address this rumor because there has been sightings of a certain deep fake video on the web showing someone who looks to be edited to appear like Mr. Ink escaping Bolingbroke Penitentiary. Just want to confirm that is a 1,000% a deep fake video. Mr. Ink has never left his cell since his apprehension. We're gonna make very sure that that doesn't happen. So, to anybody having concerns or fears regarding the circulation of that video, rest assured that has not happened, and we're doing our best to make sure it does not happen. There's been a massive increase in bank truck hijackings in the past week or so in Los Santos. We are in talks with Flica, with the banking group, to make sure that they're doing their job on making sure that their money and assets are well secured, even during transports. They seem to be failing at that so far. But we are doing the best we can to respond to these hijackings. Most of them are extremely violent, with people waiting to ambush responding units so they can steal that bank truck and its belongings. I just want to advise the public, if you see a bank truck being hijacked, no matter where you are, stay as far away as possible as you can. Most likely, it's going to be followed by at least one vehicle full of suspects, heavily armed and heavily determined to yoink it. I could say the same for actual Fleeka bank robberies. Again, I'm not sure what Maze Bank and their partners are doing to stop this from happening. It seems sometimes like their security systems are made of butter. We see people who can really hold a conversation managing to somehow hack their security systems. I'm not sure how that's possible in 2021, but again, we're trying to do our best to make sure that people specifically don't get hurt. That's our main goal during these hostage negotiations. And then if we manage to catch these people and serve some justice on top, that's also obviously a good thing. House robberies and burglaries seem to be at an all-time high, specifically in the south side. It has gotten a bit out of control recently. We, I want to say, we get approximately 200 calls of burglaries in your average 24 hours. The core of this, the hotspot, seems to be the south side and the Sandy Shores area. LSPD and PCSO are working closely together to try to suppress this pattern. If someone approaches your property or even breaks into your home, if you are home, I want to remind everybody you have the right to defend yourself. If you feel under attack, if you feel threatened on your property, you can do whatever it takes to defend yourself and your family or friends. I think that's mostly what I had in terms of crime. Unless Blair here, Billy, or the troopers want to add anything on top, we can go ahead and take some questions.
You say that the hotspots are mainly in Southside and Sandy,
For house robberies and burglary calls, yes, that's correct.
and it would be over 200 calls a day in like in 24 hours.
Yes, and I feel like that is a fairly low estimate. There's certain days where this peaks over 200. Weekends usually seem to be on the criminals' bucket list for some reason.
Do you have any statistics about the homeless population?
Any specifics? I'm afraid not. There's been a massive increase in this, as I'm sure anyone can notice, even outside Mission OPD across the street. We have a camp at this point of a couple of dozen individuals seem to be homeless, kind of finding shelter here. We can pick these people up and throw them in jail because they're not breaking the law, but at the same time, we as a community, I feel, need to get together and find a decent solution. There's still people with the same rights as us.
And so, what do you think is causing this high crime rate?
I feel like an easy answer for that would be the need for money. We all know that post militia, the city and the state have been having a really rough time financially. Even government institutions have been struggling. So I can only imagine what it's like for, let's say, a lower class individual, perhaps without a job or without that many opportunities in front of them. People end up resorting to almost whatever it takes to kind of make it.
On the more serious side, I have some questions regarding the blackout investigation. The Power and Water Company insisted that there was a separate battery for Bolingbrook for the blackout, so your power is still on. However, your MRPD had a different statement. They said that both power lines were on the same grid. Is that correct?
I cannot personally give you any specifics. I'm not an electrician. From what I've gathered, from a command standpoint, Mr. Inks, specifically a cell and holding area, was not affected by these blackouts. I will have to get together with LS Water and Power to further provide some clarification. But as far as the state police is concerned, his security was never affected by these outages.
Have you found any reason why the blackouts occurred on the 27th?
We're not sure at this moment. We do believe and suspect that there was some wrongdoing there, and by that I don't mean human error. I think it was more of a human intended error. LS Water and Power assured us that they've opened an internal investigation into finding out if any kind of sabotage has been committed from within their company.
I got the same questions from them as well. However, I spoke with CID and they said that during the blackout that Mr. Inc. talked with two officers, and those two officers watched as he turned the power on and off, both the snap of his fingers of one officer and the name of Mr. Inc. and the other officer. Is that correct?
I do not believe in magic, and I find it very hard to believe that an inmate with only a pair of pants and a tank top on managed to flick off the power for an entire state with a snap of his fingers.
Do you agree that it's odd, however, that the power went back on and off at Mr. Inc.'s statement and or uh, direction to the other
I would
officers?
agree it's odd, but again, I think there's way more context and specific details surrounding this. As
That's
far as
fair.
we know, I think there was approximately more than a dozen people in Bolingbroke at that time, including
Yet,
staff team from DOC, and I'm pretty sure LS Water and Power by that time dispatched some of their teams on the field to look into the issues. But just again, I don't believe Mr. Inc. had anything directly to do with that.
all right. Another question regarding the blackout. Severed hands were found at Palmer Taylor's power station. Have they been identified as anyone within the city yet? Or were they confirmed to be fake?
As of now, unless my colleagues here know otherwise, as of now, we don't have an official ID, a positive ID on that yet.
For another investigation, I was wondering if you had any answers for this so-called blood hunt. There were notes dropped outside the hospital and PD on the 28th of August. Seemed to be written in these Nordic runes, implying some sort of aggression towards the public.
Yes, we are aware of that. I believe the CID team has opened up a case file for that, but I'm afraid I don't have any details as it's still a somewhat fresh investigation. As usual, we try to dispatch units in hot zones. If signs of crime might appear or hints that some harm will be done to people in specific areas, or if messages like such keep being dropped in specific zones, we always try to focus on them if possible, and if the number of units allows us to. So you can always guarantee seeing PD units roaming around MZ, Legion Square, certain hotspots in the city.
We appreciate that greatly.
Absolutely.
Have you heard any rumors about Humane Labs microchipping officers?
I have not, no.
I have not heard that.
Can you share some details on that?
People have been speaking throughout the streets that there's a claim that you work alongside Humane Labs to microchip your officers. against their will?
I've never heard
no.
that.
Nothing even close to
No.
that came to our ears. I can guarantee you that we do not mandate our employees to put anything inside their bodies.
It was strange rumor. I just wanted to get confirmation.
I respect that, but I believe I don't think so.
But you guys do have like your own tracking system, like to find your own. It's just not inside you.
We
Right,
do, yeah,
right.
absolutely. It's just a good old GPS locator. It's nothing fancy. Yeah. It is 2021. We gotta advance with technology. I agree, but I don't think that's the way as of now.
Do you care to comment on that explosion?
Can you call
Breaking
Probably
news.
BCSO.
It's most likely a BCSO cruiser. Oh, I want to point out that earlier, actually right before this briefing, BCSO, the Blaine County Sheriff's Office, made a big move in transferring Captain Street from the LSPD for the amazing transfer fee of $0 to move on to BCSO turf and become their newest deputy sheriff. So which means Captain Street from the LSPD is now second in command in the Blaine County Sheriff's Office. Oh, there he is. He just walked in. Congrats. to him.
Yay! I would
Hey,
clap, but I have my
congrats.
Thank you,
Yay.
stream.
And how do you spell your last name?
Like the thing you drive on.
Screet.
Street
It's
common
like a
spelling.
Street.
you
Got
know?
it.
Yeah.
Just one more question about the deepfake video you mentioned earlier. You were able to confirm that it was fake by visiting him himself?
That alongside a thorough and detailed forensic analysis from our cyber team.
As the media, is there any chance we would be able to have a supervised visit with Mr. Ink so that we could interview him? Is there anything that we could do to make that happen?
I don't want to say no 100% because I feel like it is not entirely our call to
We
make
did
alone.
that before, yeah. We've done that before.
I would
That
reach
was a
out
good idea.
to the warden, Miss Porter from DOC, as well as someone from DOJ probably. I'm not sure if Mr. Ink still has a lawyer on retainer or not. He's obviously a difficult, convoluted case to deal with. I'd rather make sure that we kind of knock at every door before barging in and messing things up. Commissioner Gill, welcome. We were almost about to end. Do you have anything you want to say to the public or press?
Negative.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Are we good then? You
Well,
guys have
up to you
anything
too.
else? Dewey, you got anything to say?
Should I say something?
Yes.
Wherever you want.
If you want to.
On the record. It's on the record.
On record.
I just want to say that you all are doing a great job, and we work really hard every single day to keep the streets of Los Santos safe. That's all.
Aw.
Aw, love that, Dewey.
Thank you,
Definitely
Dewey.
stay on the record.
All right.
David.
Wonderful then. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you guys a lot and what you do for the city.
Likewise.
We
And,
appreciate you. Thanks for meeting up with us.
Absolutely. Let's try to make this a common thing because I feel like it will help all of us a lot.